Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, is that part of my life over? The part where your heart raced with a gentle touch, where affection wasn't something distant, but something familiar, where intimacy felt like home, not a memory. You're not alone, and if no one has told you yet, that part of your life is not over, not even close. In fact, this season, your 60s, your 70s, even your 80s, might just be the time where intimacy matters most. Because as we grow older, something subtle begins to happen. Our bodies may slow. Yes, our faces may change. But deeper than that, we begin to touch less. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The hand that once reached across the bed may now fold neatly by your side. The hug that once lingered might be replaced by polite distance. And the soft murmur of affection can fall silent, not because the love is gone, but because the closeness has drifted. You might think, that's just aging. But what if I told you it's not? What if I told you that the absence of intimacy isn't an inevitable part of growing older, but a choice we've unknowingly surrendered to? You see, we've been taught to believe that desire has an expiration date, that romance fades with wrinkles, that passion belongs to the young, and that softness no longer belongs to us. But that is a lie, a quiet, painful lie that has kept too many good people feeling forgotten, not by others, but by their own hearts. Let's be clear, intimacy is not just about sex. It's not about performance. It's not about how often or how long. Intimacy is about connection. It's about a soft gaze that says, "You matter." A hand held in silence that says, "I'm still here." It's about remembering that even after all the years, all the change, and all the loss, you are still someone worth loving deeply. And yes, intimacy still matters, because when we stop engaging in affection, when touch disappears from our lives, our bodies don't just miss it, they begin to mourn it. Maybe you've noticed it already. A little more stiffness in your joints, a little more tension in your chest, more nights of restless sleep, more mornings where joy feels a little harder to find. You might chalk it up to age, but science and experience tell a deeper story. Regular intimacy, whether with a partner or even with yourself, plays a powerful role in maintaining your heart health, joint and muscle flexibility, brain sharpness, emotional resilience, and even your immune system, not because it's some magical act, but because it's how we're wired. The body thrives on touch. The heart steadies through closeness. The mind clears through connection. And when we give all that up, when we let weeks, months, or even years pass without the warmth of intimacy, we don't just age faster. We disconnect. We disconnect from our partners, from our bodies, from our sense of self-worth. You start to feel invisible, not because others forget you, but because you've forgotten how to see yourself through the lens of love. But here's the beautiful truth, it's not too late. Whether you've been married for 40 years, or you've lost your partner, or you've simply grown distant from your own sense of desire, this chapter of life still holds space for connection. Intimacy at this stage isn't about proving anything. It's about reclaiming something. Your softness, your belonging, your right to feel. Because when you allow yourself to reconnect, even in small ways, you begin to reawaken parts of you that never died, they just went quiet, waiting to be invited back. Start with a gentle touch, a moment of eye contact, a conversation without distraction, even a simple reminder spoken aloud, "I still matter." Because you do. And no, it's not silly, it's not shameful, it's not too late. It's necessary, it's healing, it's human. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into what really happens inside your body when you stop having sex and why it affects more than just your libido. It impacts your heart, your bones, your mind, and your strength. And the best part, you have the power to change it. But for now, let this settle. You are not past your prime. You are not forgotten. And you are not alone. You are still worthy of closeness, still capable of connection, and still deeply, completely human. Your body is not just a machine, it is a memory keeper. It remembers laughter, sorrow, desire, pain through sensation, through connection, through touch. So what happens when that touch fades away? At first, it's subtle. You feel a little slower climbing the stairs. Your joints creak just a bit more in the morning. You might write it off as just getting older. But under the surface, something more is shifting. When intimacy leaves our lives, especially physical intimacy, the body begins to adapt. Not for the better, but through quiet decline. Take your heart. For example, most people think it's only food and exercise that keep it strong. But regular physical affection, including sex, works like a gentle cardio workout. It boosts circulation. It lowers blood pressure. It relaxes arteries and reduces stress hormones. Studies show seniors who maintain intimate relationships have stronger, more resilient hearts, not because of passion, but because of connection. So when intimacy disappears, the heart doesn't just beat slower, it suffers. Blood vessels become less elastic. Inflammation can increase. The very organ that once swelled at the sight of someone you love begins to strain from silence. But it's not just the heart. Muscles and joints respond. 2. You see, intimacy involves movement, reaching, adjusting, holding, breathing. It's not about athleticism, it's about engagement. The body is gently stretched, rotated, balanced. Even the smallest gestures keep it alive. Remove that rhythm and things begin to tighten. Stiffness creeps in. Your body begins to act more like a statue than a sanctuary. And without that stimulation, the brain, it suffers quietly. You may not link sex to brain health, but the connection is profound. During intimacy, the brain floods with dopamine, motivation, oxytocin, calm, serotonin, balance, and endorphins, pain relief. These chemicals aren't just for pleasure. They are tools of survival. Especially as we age, they fight depression. They sharpen memory. They help you sleep. They reduce stress and even protect your neurons. So when sex disappears, not just intercourse, but even gentle connection, your brain misses out. And over time, that shows up in real ways. You feel more anxious, but don't know why. You're forgetful in moments that once felt automatic. You lose a bit of sharpness, not from age, but from emotional drought. Then comes the immune system. Most people think immunity is all about supplements and sleep. But sex triggers production of immunoglobulin A powerful antibody that helps fight colds, flu, and infection. Without regular intimacy, your body becomes more vulnerable, not because you're fragile, but because you've cut off one of its natural defense systems. This may show up as more frequent colds or longer recovery times, general fatigue again. It's not punishment. It's the cost of disconnection. Even sleep, that sacred reset button for body and soul, begins to shift. After intimacy, your body releases prolactin, a hormone that relaxes you into deep, peaceful rest. You sleep longer, deeper. You wake up restored. But without that touch, without that physical, hormonal grounding, you may find yourself tossing, turning, waking in the dark with thoughts that won't quiet. And it all circles back to this: when the body stops being touched, it begins to forget. It forgets how to respond, how to relax, how to desire. Like an old piano left unplayed. Its keys stiffen. Its music, once natural, now feels foreign. But here's the miracle. Just like a piano, the body can remember, even after silence, even after time. All it needs is gentle, intentional reconnection. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to chase youth. You just need to say, I still want to feel alive. I still want to be part of this life, not just watch it pass by. In Part 3, we'll explore how this fading touch affects not just your muscles and memory, but your sense of self, your confidence, your relationship, your spirit. Because when the body forgets how to be touched, the heart often forgets how to feel seen. But friend, what has been lost can still be found. There's a quiet kind of grief that many older adults carry. It doesn't come from loss of spouse, or retirement, or even the slowing of the body. It comes from the feeling of being forgotten. Not by others, but by yourself. You stop seeing yourself as someone desirable. You stop believing that you're allowed to feel joy in your body. You begin to live as if tenderness is for someone else, someone younger, someone more worthy. And over time, that belief becomes a shadow. It follows you into the mirror. It creeps into how you walk, how you speak, how you stop reaching for love, not because you don't want it, but because you're not sure you're still allowed to receive it. But let me say this clearly and from the heart, you are still worthy of being desired. Even now, even if it's been years, even if your body has changed, even if no one has touched you in a long time, desire is not reserved for the young, is not earned by flawless skin or endless energy. Desire is a reflection of aliveness. And friend, you're still very much alive. The absence of physical intimacy often leads to a slow erosion of self-confidence. It's not loud. It doesn't announce itself. But you start to avoid mirrors, dress without caring, shrink from hugs, speak less gently to yourself, not because you've given up on life, but because you've quietly assumed life has given up on you. But the mind, you're brilliant. Resilient mind is listening. It listens when you're ignored. It listens when you're overlooked. And it starts to believe the silence. That's why intimacy matters, not just as an act, but as an affirmation. It says, I see you. You matter. You still have something beautiful to offer. When you allow someone to touch you, or when you allow yourself to feel again, your brain responds. It releases hormones like oxytocin and dopamine that counteract stress, lift your mood, and rebuild inner security. These are not just chemical reactions. They are spiritual reminders. You are not invisible. You are not past your prime. You are still becoming. Even if you live alone, even if you've lost a partner, you can still experience connection. Because intimacy is not defined by another person. It begins with you. How you care for yourself. How you speak to your body. How you allow gentle pleasure back into your life, not as a reward, but as a right. The truth is, many seniors stop seeking affection not because they no longer want it, but because they fear rejection. Or worse, shame. They were raised in times when sex and self-pleasure were wrapped in silence, when growing old meant fading, not flourishing. But let me tell you, those ideas are outdated. This is a new era, one where men and women in their 60s, 70s, 80s are rediscovering what it means to feel close again, to feel beautiful again, to feel human. And no, you don't need to be in a romantic relationship to reclaim that feeling. You can hold your own hand, light a candle, and breathe deeply. Speak kindly to your reflection. Explore your body without shame. Let warmth return, inch by inch, into the spaces you thought had closed forever. Every time you reconnect with yourself, you send a signal to your mind. I am not done. I am not discarded. I am still worthy. That shift in thinking doesn't just change how you feel. It changes how you live. You stand taller. You speak more gently. You make eye contact. You smile. Not because someone gave you a reason, but because you remembered you didn't need one. This is the healing power of intimacy. It's not about physical performance. It's not about proving anything. It's about coming home to yourself, to your body, to your breath, to your soul. And when you do that, people around you feel it, too. They respond differently. They respect you more. They soften in your presence. Because when you treat yourself as someone who matters, the world remembers to do the same. In Part 4, we'll explore how to begin again gently, safely, with dignity, whether you're with a partner or on your own. You'll learn simple ways to reignite your connection with your body and bring comfort, pleasure, and peace back into your life. Because desire didn't leave you. You just stopped reaching for it. And now you're ready to return. So now you know, intimacy isn't over. Desire hasn't disappeared. And touch is still your language, even if it's been silent for a while. But how do you begin again? How do you reopen a door that's been shut for years, maybe out of loss, pain, shame, or simply the quiet drift of time? The answer is not to go back. You don't need to recover who you once were. You need to discover who you are now. Because intimacy at this stage of life isn't a return to the past. It's an arrival into a new, wiser, gentler version of yourself. And that journey starts with one word: permission. Give yourself permission to feel, to explore, to hope, to enjoy. Even if you're single, even if you haven't been touched in years, even if you feel uncertain or nervous or afraid, start with something small. A gentle shower where you take time with your own skin. Not rushing, just noticing. Use a soft towel. Rub lotion into your arms slowly. Put your hand over your chest and breathe. That's the first touch. That's the first spark. If you have a partner, begin with conversation, not expectation. Say, "I miss feeling close to you." Or, "I wonder if we can find our way back to tenderness." Not to pressure, not to fix anything, just to open a door. Let that door stay open, even if you don't walk through it right away. Because for many couples, emotional closeness returns before physical intimacy does. And that's okay. A hand held while watching TV, a kiss on the shoulder before sleep, a long hug in the kitchen. These are not small acts. They are sacred gestures. They are proof that love evolves and that intimacy, like the heart, grows deeper with time. Now, if you're alone, please understand, being alone does not mean being disconnected. You still deserve tenderness. You still deserve affection. And you can still give it to yourself. Set aside a quiet moment. Light a candle. Play soft music. Sit or lie down in comfort. Touch your body the way you would touch someone you cherish. With patience, with care, with reverence. You are not just touching yourself. You are returning to yourself. You're telling your skin, you are still here. You are still mine. You are still worthy. And this isn't about climax. It's about connection. If arousal comes, welcome it. If tears come, welcome them too. If laughter or stillness fills the room, let it be part of the experience. Because this is your ritual now. A way to stay grounded. A way to stay human. A way to stay whole. You may also want to explore simple tools, body-safe lubricants, soft fabrics, calming scents that make this experience even more soothing. And if you face physical limitations, such as pain, dryness, or mobility issues, speak to a doctor you trust. There are gentle, effective solutions available. You do not have to suffer in silence. Most importantly, don't measure yourself against your past. This is not about performance. It's about presence. And presence real, honest, intentional presence is what keeps love, pleasure, and healing alive. So whether you're rediscovering closeness with a long-time partner or exploring solo intimacy for the first time in years, remember this: you're not starting over. You're starting deeper. You're bringing wisdom, tenderness, and truth into a space once filled with pressure, expectation, or silence. And what grows from that space? Confidence, peace, sleep, energy, resilience, even joy. Because intimacy, when practiced with dignity, becomes a source of power, not weakness. It becomes a place where your body is not judged but welcomed, where your heart is not measured but held, where your soul is not questioned but honored. So start now, not because something is broken, but because something inside you still wants to bloom. And if you ever doubt that, place your hand over your chest. Feel your heart. It's still beating, not just to survive, but to feel, to connect, to love. You have not run out of time. You are not too old. You are not finished. You are just becoming more fully yourself. Closing reflection: if today's message stirred something in you, hold on to it. Let it guide you, not just tonight, but tomorrow. Let it reshape how you view your body, your desires, your worth. And if you know someone else who needs to hear this, don't keep it to yourself. Pass it on. We're not meant to heal alone, because when one person reclaims their dignity, their desire, and their right to love, we all rise a little higher.